Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Tick. So it's an exciting day. We have a box and it says Smartwatch and it even says gold, which is something new. Everything seems to come in silver to me, but not today. Not today as we unveil the KingWear KW88 Android 5.1 round smartwatch phone. Look at this thing. This is a work of art. Wow. Let's first take a look at the watch. The band is unique. Look at all the holes in it. I guess it'll breathe on your arm. Wow, it's even got stickers all over it. Look at that in gold. That looks like a camera. That looks like a button. That looks like a hole. That's probably the microphone. That's no doubt the speaker. And it's got bands that don't appear to be removable. Most likely they have antennas in them. Although with these holes, well, you can kind of see the holes only go so far and there's something behind there. That's probably the antennas. So guess is it's not going to be removable bands, but that's a pretty interesting one at that. I've got a barcode that I have no idea what it is, but I certainly don't want to go around wearing it like I just checked out of Macy's or something. So we're taking that off. We're going to take off the front cover, plastic protection, and we're going to set it aside while we take a look at what else we have in the box. It's got a very dark black insert, and inside are two compartments. Whoa, this is fancy. Look at that. It's a little black box with something inside. Probably the charging dock or something. Let's take a peek. We've got... You can't see in there? Okay. Oh, it's a screwdriver. All that excitement for a little screwdriver. Well, I'll add that to my growing collection of little screwdrivers that come with smartwatches. That tells me that in order to put the SIM card in, I probably have to take out the screws. So I get, oh, maybe just that one. Oh yeah, there's the compartment right there. Can you see that? Oh good, I don't have to take the whole thing apart, just that part to get to the SIM card. But of course we'll take it all apart so you can see inside, but not this video. This is the unboxing and first look. We haven't even turned it on. So we're just going to do a quick overview of the KW88 today. What else is in here? Well, there's another box. And let's take a peek. Something wrapped up. Ah, looks to me like that must be our charging connector. Well, on the bottom, do we have? Yeah, we do. We have 4 connectors, a heart rate monitor. Okay. This is looking surprisingly similar. USB cable, magnetic coupling. Does that look familiar to you? How does it work? Not that way, but that way. Hey, that's a solid connection. Look at that. It doesn't fall off. Do you remember a video a while ago? Which watch was that? This one. You remember this watch? The D6 from number 1 with this little connector that kind of hangs on there. Doesn't that look surprisingly like this one? I wonder if... Well, looky there. The number 1 D6 charging connector will work on the KW88, which probably means that on the number 1 we could put... Oh, it does! Of course, it doesn't stick well because the magnets are really tiny in here. But it's the same. Wait a minute. You saw that review too. You're talking the B3 from Banas that had a little black connector that looked like the little white connector, but you don't mean to tell me that the one from Banas that's really nice and strong would actually work on would actually work on the number 1d6 and could possibly even, I know it's a review of the KW88 and you don't want to go here, but a lot of people are looking for extra chargers. So don't buy an extra charger, buy an extra watch and share. Now, let's get back to business here. All right. We have looked at everything in the box. There is no manual in this one. That either was omitted or doesn't exist, but we have a couple of boxes. We got a screwdriver and we got a charging cable, and we have got ourselves a watch, which we will now turn on for a first look at what we've got. Balloons! Oh, it's really bright in the camera. Sorry about that. I'm going to have to try to dim it down later. But there's a lot of hot air balloons going on there. No sound. Oh, there it is. And Android. It's starting apps, okay. I'm having to interpret this for you because it says Android is starting, and it says starting apps right there as it boots up. And it's coming into its first watch screen, and it says KingWear down at the bottom. Now, I know a lot of you are probably curious. You're going to be wanting to say, well, how in the world does this compare with, for example, the IQII2? And yeah, we will be doing a comparison video of these two later on, but today is about, yes, I know you also want to know how does it compare to the the Final, the Final X5, and we'll be talking about that too. Come on, you. Oh, well. All right. Anyway, back we go to the KingWear KW88 watch. Here we are. I have not used the interface yet, so I'm not sure what it does or how you get there. You scroll up, you scroll down, you scroll left, and you scroll right. Pretty simple. We're in the app, so the first thing I'm going to do is look for settings right there and try to go into the display and change the brightness level down, so you guys will be able to read everything as we go through this. These are, pretty much similar across the board. So we're already in settings. We'll take a look that we've got sound with all the different volume levels, media, alarm, ringtone, watch ringtones, and default notification sounds that you can change. You can set it to vibrate for incoming calls. Again, this takes a SIM card, so it's a standalone watch. It's not really meant for tethering to your existing phone. That's a whole other topic we'd have to get into on whether you can call and receive calls directly on the watch from your phone like a tethering watch. But you certainly can if you put in the SIM card, right? Do we swipe left? Yeah, okay. Display we were just into to change the brightness level. Fonts, small, normal, or large. I'm going to leave that alone unless I just changed it. I did. I don't want to. I want to leave it on normal just in case. This is where I want to go. Change the sleep time to every 30 minutes so I could talk for 30 minutes before it goes off. Hard to do when it's going off after every 15 seconds. That's the display. App list style is either straight list like this or it could be round. And we're going to try going with list because it's easier to work our way through here. Your connections, this is how you'd set up Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. You can make this a Wi-Fi hotspot. Interesting. If you have a SIM card in it and it supports the 3G network. You have GPS and restricted app background. That probably means it'll help save battery by turning off apps that run in the background. Part of a power saving capability. Mobile Assistant is the barcode you scan that will let you do the tethering to the phone. And again, we have to see what capabilities that will present later when we get it all wired up. Your gesture thing is pedometer service is turned on so that it'll actively be counting your steps. But if you don't need that and you want to save battery, it looks like you could turn it off. Are close pedometer service? Yes, you could. Okay, I'm not for right now. Just leave everything like it is. Screen on raising is where you turn your arm, of course, and it will bing, light up for you to show you the time. Okay, you got to see how this works. That's the watch face you normally would have, but when it goes out and you twist your arm, you get this miniature display, a reduced display. That's the time that's shown. You do not get the display of the watch face that you've chosen, like we've seen in the other round watches. It's a twist, literally, but that's what it looks like. Power savings by itself. Nice. Looks like it's got a graph. It's going to show you I'm at 98% with approximately 48 minutes left. Wow, that's using power a lot. Screen is, of course, the highest one right now and about the only one. And usually the screen will eat the most power. So fortunately for both the video and the battery, I have the screen turned way down. Language and input is where we could change our languages, and these are all the languages available on this watch. And there are quite a few that I can't even begin to pronounce. And we are set on English. No español, inglesio. There we go. Keyboard and input. The current keyboard is the Watch IME. And of course, you can install your own keyboards from the Google Play Store and Google Voice and voice input and your text-to-speech output. So those are all similar to what you see in your Android operating system. We're not going to spend more time there. Date and time, if I'm on the network, can be synchronized. If I'm not on the network, then I can set it manually. As you can see shaded out there. Resetting the equipment allows us to back up your data to the cloud, I guess, to Google servers so that you can reinstall it later. That's standard. And back up your accounts and then do an automatic restore. And, of course, factory reset if necessary. And uninstall your applications is a stripped-down version of the apps that you can get into in the standard operating system. We've talked about in other videos a workaround for that. So in order to really get the full features of uninstall application area where you can do much, much more, you want to go to the Google Play Store when you're online and download an app called Settings Search. Settings Search. Then when you're in Settings Search, tap on Applications and you'll get into the settings, but you'll get into the real juicy stuff where you can clear cache or data if you need to on an app, or shut them off. About the watch, a lot of people like this stuff. We do have developer options turned on, and one of the things sometimes I do is have stay awake turned on. When it's charging, it will keep the display on and dim, so if you want to have it on at night, you could see it. Okay, that's the stay awake. I would not mess with any of the other stuff in here unless you know what you're doing. There's ways that you could change the display and totally brick, in a sense, the device where you can't see it, you can't change it. So stay out of developer options except for that. The status, the model number, KW88, it is running Android 5.1, and these are the other important numbers for those who are curious that would like to know what version we're on. And you can check yours to see if it's newer or older. And we do have videos on how to flash firmware to these watches in general and for a few specific units, and you might want to check that if you feel that you need to flash your firmware. Well, that's pretty. I don't know where the watch went, but there it is. Okay. It's odd time and odd date because it hasn't been set up yet. I presume if I press and hold, I could go through and we can look at all the different clock faces. Let's start at the beginning. And these have names. Love. All right. We've seen that clock face before. This is the one that was just on. These are the pre-installed clock faces at this time. Yay. Come back here. Another digital. Why don't you want to go there? There we go. Showing the battery charge as well as pedometer steps, day and date, in a nice green. Here's another cityscape with a reflection. Here's the nice round red one. They have a red version of this watch with red straps, and that watch face is featured on that one. In addition to the gold, it comes in black and a silver version, I believe. Kata. Ah, interesting. There's spaceships going around. A circle, which tells you the time and the seconds. And another one with little dots in it. Kind of soft right now because I have the brightness turned down so you can read, but you lose some of the dark areas as well. And this is one of those AMOLEDs type screens, so that your blacks are pure black and your lighted areas are brighter. Very similar to the Finout X5 watch that we were showing you a moment ago, that same kind of screen. And it looks like about the same size of watch as well. Another watch face showing who knows what. Dials. Kind of looks good against the outer dial that's right here. Another one with colorful dials on it. And I guess that's it. Let's just grab love. Why not? All right. So we scroll to the left for notifications. That's similar to a lot of these watches. We scroll to the right for contacts, phone, messaging, settings, and so forth. Browser, calendar, all of our apps, it looks like. Come back to that. We go one more. We've got the music player, and that's it. Music, that stuff, that stuff, that stuff. When we go up, we get to this page, and nothing to the left. And to the right, we get to this page, where we can set our vibration or silent or vibrate only. Go into airport mode, change your brightness, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, and all these other things. That must be location services for GPS. And we've got the pedometer steps, and that's it. Pedometer, that screen, and down, we're back to time. And down is weather, okay? And we don't have any weather because we're not on the weather service. It's trying to update, but I'm not connected. I guess you push to the right in order to do the updating. Okay, you got the layout. So we go to the right, and now we've got the list of all of our apps, which we just went through settings. I'm not going to dive into all these. They're pretty self-explanatory. Your contacts, your phone's just going to be a dial pad. Messaging for SMS messaging. There's the settings we just did. Remote capture will let you connect, I believe, to your phone and then remotely capture a picture from your phone's camera. Browser built in. A basic calendar, which, as most of these are, just shows you the days, but you can't do anything with it. And your clock with alarms. Hello. Yeah, camera. That's the onboard camera. That's something new that you have to have a watch with a camera. We'll play with that later. And the gallery is where you'd see your pictures. Your music player, which is, I presume, onboard music that you load into here as opposed to the Bluetooth music. Remote control. It's not syncing, so this is where you would remotely control the music on your phone, all right? Two different things, music on your watch versus music on your phone. A basic sound recorder. This lets us actually test the capability of the recording, and we can hear what it sounds like. Oh, that's nice, it has a pause. That way you can wait and think about what else you want to say and then continue. And this is the continuation of that. Save it. Recording file list and play it. This lets us actually test the capability of the recording and we can hear what it sounds like. And this is the continuation of that. There, you heard that without the pause in there too. Nice, okay. That's a nice feature to have that pause. Your file manager, so you can go in there. You see that we have used a tiny amount of 1.69 gigabytes available on this watch. That's what you have to install stuff. Music, app, backups, all that kind of stuff. That's File Manager. find your device is that tethering thing where if you hit start, it'll make your phone beep. Health applications, this is where you get your heart rate and pedometer. We took a peek at the pedometer. Heart rate should activate the pulse meter in here. That's going to record your current heartbeat or heart rate. And it comes up 63. I'm having a range from like about this level to the high 90s. So I'm not sure about the accuracy of all of these watches. It does seem to get closer to correct over time. So it's something you might want to wait and see what the final reading is. Well, it's going off the scale now. I don't know. I don't think I'm in the 90s right now. Anyway, it's a heart rate monitor. It seems to have recorded the first one right there. Now it's just recording the pulse of air, so not sure how accurate that is. Weather, if we're connected, you saw that. That's where we got on a swipe over on the side. Voice search. This is your equivalent of the OK Google, I believe, and it's attempting to connect into Google, which it can't, because we're not on a network. The Play Store, Maps, which will let you access the geographic maps from Google. And, of course, with GPS on board, you should be able to play with them from there. I have a message that won't go away. Let's see if I turn it off, if it will. Now, network error. Check your network. Okay, and it just keeps pulsing. So we're going to have to go online here eventually. And that's the last of the installed apps. Maps and Play Store, Voice Search and Weather, Health, Find It, File Manager, Sound Recorder, Remote Control, Music, the Gallery and Camera app, Clock, Calendar, Browser, Remote Capture, Settings, Messaging, Phone, and Contacts. All right? So what we haven't done is played with the camera. I'm going to go do that, and then we'll put that little segment in here. Okay, let's see what we can do with this camera now. I'm going to launch the app, twist it slightly, because I have a little pet rooster, a statue anyway, to take a photo of. You ready? Got it. Okay, picture's been taken. I slide to the side, and now you can see the image. And if you tap on the image, you can either throw it away or get details. The details say that it's a 1920 by 2560 image, and the file size is 1.15 megabytes, okay? Focal length, white balance, exposure, ISO, the path of where it's stored, all sorts of stuff appears. And you got yourself an image. Now, the tricky thing is, this is a camera that's on the side of your arm, right? Let's go back into the camera mode. And when you have it on your arm tends to be in the way. So if you're going to take a picture, you kind of have to bend your wrist down. It's awkward. To be able to get there, otherwise you might have it in the way, just because the camera hole is on the side. One of the things that I've found that I like to do with this is, instead of taking the pictures this way, I like to turn, this is so awkward, I like to turn the camera, my wrist, so that I can take the pictures out of the side, like that. But it's going to be sideways then if you do that, because it's designed to be done flat. So I have a backup plan for that. Let me show you. I've installed this app called Open Camera. Now, Open Camera is similar to Camera. However, you can set it up so that you can take the pictures vertically instead. And if I do that, I also can freeze it so that the image will stay on the screen afterwards, and I can look at it, and I could delete it or do all the things I want to do with it, or I could just save it, and I can go down into the little corner here and view it. Now, I've also set the dimensions on this to be like on a regular widescreen TV. You know, the the aspect ratio. And although I didn't get a good picture this time, you get the drift. It's similar to what you can get with the camera with its square, but I've set the image size to be rectangular. And you can go and look at other pictures. Here's some flower pictures I took outside, which if you double tap, I can zoom in on. They're kind of overexposed right now, but you have access to close-ups of the images as well. Okay, that's open camera. Let's go back to camera. Again, in camera, there's the little picture of the rooster I took. I double tap it, and I can also zoom in and take a close look at the detail. Where's the guy's eye? There it is. Okay, so you have this onboard camera. It's not great. It's not really bad. It works. And it includes video capability. Hello, rooster. I'm taking a video of you. And it gets saved. And we can play the clip. Hello, rooster. I'm taking a video of you. And in this case, it's long and vertical because I took it this way, right? Anyway. Hello, rooster. I'm taking a video of you. You just got to play with the camera app, get familiar with it, and if you want more flexibility, install Open Camera. Okay, so that was all about the camera that you have on board the KW88. And as far as first looks go, that's pretty much all we can do until we go on board and sign in to Wi-Fi and get ourselves connected and updated. But it's a really nice looking watch. It's got a very interesting band with perforations in it. It looks like this when you put it on. Let's go back to a watch face. There we go. It's not too large. And again, we're going to be doing comparisons when we have all of these new class of round Android 5.1 based watches here to play with, and even compare them to like the X5, the older versions of the Android 4.4 type. But this is nice. It's a little bit thick, but not excessively thick. Again, we will be comparing that to other watches, so you can check out the thickness for yourself and see what you think. All right? Thanks for watching Smartwatch Ticks. We will definitely be back. You have been looking at the KingWear KW88 Android 5.1 Bluetooth 4.0 MTK 6585 12 megabytes RAM and 4 gigabytes of ROM smartwatch phone with all of the features that you see here. All right? A couple of more things to show you before we close out this segment. When you swipe down, you get 3 panels, the first one being an information panel, date, time, battery power, whether or not you have a SIM card or are connected Bluetooth tethered to your phone. You have this information panel in the middle, and then you have your pedometer steps for the day and supposedly the kilometers you've walked. On this pane, at the top, you have 2 buttons. You can tap the left one and have volume and screen on and vibrator and everything, and tap the right one and you go into silent mode. This button turns on your brightness screen for your hand. In other words, rotating your arm will show you the display of the time. Have airport mode, synchronization to make sure you are constantly synced, and then location services. And then at the bottom, we have a brightness control for your screen to be very low, middle, or very high, almost washing everything out. You can turn on Bluetooth. I wanted that in the mid. Okay, you can turn on or off Bluetooth and, of course, Wi-Fi. So those are all of the commands that you get when you swipe up. And when you press and hold the button, you have these options here. Power off, reboot, power save, and recent tasks. Recent tasks brings you to the page of all of your open apps, so you can close them down. And this one up here is very interesting. You see it says full? That means all of your apps are going to play full screen. That means rectangular apps are going to have the corners cut off. You're not going to be able to see them on the screen, or touch menu items. When you touch it, and make it small, it becomes a little square. So any apps that you have installed or the default ones will fit in a square on the screen. That's great for apps that you need to touch the corner to get into a menu. If you're stuck and you can't get to the menu items, just press and hold and tap and make it small. When you're done playing with your app and setting everything up, press and hold, come back and make it full. And you're back where you are. Power savings, turned a lot of that stuff off and dimmed the screen. And I turned it off very quickly. And of course, I could power off too. And we're going to shut down. So there you go, the KW88. It's a nice watch, it really is. I'd recommend it. Thanks for watching.